Welcome back. 7:45. A new downtown Denver safety report was recently released, and it shows an increase in crimes reported.
Yeah, well, that sounds concerning. It also shows people are being vigilant and bringing problems to police and the city's attention. So Denver Mayor Michael Hancock is joining us to talk about that Together We Will initiative and the first report from the program since it launched in November. And we'll talk about a few other things as well. But good morning, Mr. Mayor. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. Good morning, my friends. Good to see both of you.
You
Good
too.
to see you too.
So give us the broad strokes of this latest report. What do we really think is happening, and are we safe when we go downtown right now?
Well, you might recall we announced the Downtown Action Team in November of last year. And since then, the teams have been on the street, very active. We are making contact with people, as you just reported. Crime reporting is up, which is exactly what we wanted to happen. And we are beginning to see things stabilize. We are removing graffiti. We are cleaning up our downtown Denver. People are reporting incidents where they see them. We are coming in contact with more people who are unhoused in downtown Denver. And luckily and good for them, they are beginning to take us up on the offers to get treatment and to get other services, get connected to other services. And that's an important thing. But I got to tell you, we're also encouraged by the fact that from what we see so far, in terms of crime numbers, that we are seeing a decrease in crime in downtown Denver. We'll have more on that by the end of the first quarter, but we are pleased with what we're seeing so far.
And Mayor, I know the goal is to get a lot more foot traffic and get a kind of a revival of downtown Denver going. Tuesday, of course, was the State of the Union address. So bigger picture here, Colorado's economy is actually doing a little bit better than some of the other states, but there are still some empty stores and challenges to stay afloat. What could the president do over the next couple of years that might trickle down to the local level here?
Well, Brian, let me first address the first part of your question with regards to activity and foot traffic in downtown. We saw sold out crowds in our Denver Performing Arts Center. We see restaurant numbers up 8% over pre-pandemic numbers. That is huge because there was a lot of people who thought downtown was dead. Nobody was coming down there. And we kept saying, you can't even get a reservation in downtown restaurants. And so the numbers bear out 8% over pre-pandemic numbers in terms of, people going in and out of our restaurants. Of course, we were close to pre-pandemic numbers on our Parade of Lights in downtown Denver. And we can't forget 500,000 people came down for the Ass Parade. So people are coming downtown. And so those folks who are Debbie Downers on downtown, they've got it wrong. People are actually enjoying downtown. They're enjoying the restaurants. They're enjoying the shows. And we are seeing pedestrian traffic increase. Now, with regards to the president, obviously, I thought the president did a phenomenal job on his speech. He's strong. And we think about what he's done in just 2 years, some historic things that have done in terms of the American Recovery Act, the CHIPS Act, the Inflation Reduction Act. And we can't forget the historic bipartisan Infrastructure Improvement Act that he passed. We are ready to take advantage of those opportunities. And we're going to need those resources as we work to improve downtown, improve our roads, and address some of the critical infrastructure. All those things play an integral role in helping us to revitalize our downtown. So we're well on our way in partnership with Washington and the White House in doing these things. And it's because of the historic performance of the president over the last 2 years.
Mr. Mayor, you recently went to Africa and met with Egypt and Ethiopia's airport leaders. Sounds like a fascinating trip. Can you share what came out of those meetings?
Yeah, this has been something that's been years in the works, and I'm glad I got a chance to do it while I was still mayor. We've been working on a direct flight to the continent of Africa. We do not have a direct flight to the continent of Africa, Denver, which is just absolutely unacceptable. And so, as with studies, we have looked at data. Ethiopia and Egypt are the two most likely locations for us to do a destination trip. It was a phenomenal trip. We were well received in both Ethiopia and Egypt. Very promising conversations with both airlines in both countries. And I'm hopeful that we'll have some good news soon. But I got to tell you, they were some phenomenal conversations. Even had a chance to meet with the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, who, by the way, his family was in exile in Denver, Colorado.
No kidding.
He was elected prime minister. We did not know that. And he summoned us in because he wanted to thank us for caring for his wife and children while he was dealing with the political issues in Ethiopia.
Wow. What a great connection.
Yeah.
Well, we can't leave you without mentioning the Broncos very quickly. Of course, new head coach Sean Payton. Your thoughts on his introduction and possibly where this team is headed with him?
Well, you got to be excited to have a veteran coach, an adult in the room, and I'm excited that Sean Payton is in Denver. And obviously, we've been excited about some things over the years that have not panned out. So he recognizes, and he said during his press conference, it's what we do on the field that will matter, and that just shows me the maturity of a guy who's been through this before, and he won't be surprised by anything. So we're very fortunate to have him, and I'm excited about this upcoming season.
All right. Well, Mayor Michael Hancock, enjoy the Super Bowl this weekend. You rooting for one team or the other?
No, I'm not rooting, but I'm calling for the Philadelphia Eagles to win this one.
There you go.
All right. Calling
Same as the
for it.
Madden video
All right,
game. They
yes.
picked the Eagles too. All right.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Mayor.